Greetings, welcome to another episode of StabloidNews. Today we're going to let you know about some of the great and quirky upcoming horrors and thrillers to smash out in 2020. This list will exclude any sequels coming out, as we're going to be doing that in another list, so line the walls with plastic wrap and settle in as we stab out 17 upcoming horror movies this year. Quickly subscribe and like this video, and let's do this! The Grudge is a remake of the 2004 American remake of the Japanese horror Ju-on, The Grudge. This is the fourth film in the Grudge series and stars Andrea Riseborough and Harold and Kumar's John Cho, obviously playing a much more dramatic role. In her own house, a young mother murders her family, bringing a detective and a single mother to start investigating the mystery. They discover that the house is cursed as many strange things begin to happen around them. The wrath of a vengeful ghost that preys on all who enter. Next in the year we have Underwater is a sci-fi thriller starring Kristen Stewart and TJ Miller. This film is based around a crew of researchers aboard an underwater station and are suddenly threatened by strange mysterious creatures that approach and terrorize them. Located 7 miles below the surface of the ocean, I can imagine this will be kind of like Alien, but under the sea. Under the sea. As the crew is slowly taken out while trying to stay alive and protect the base. I'm not overly excited about this one, but I would definitely give it a watch. This supernatural thriller is an adaptation of the book by Henry James, The Turn of the Screw. A young governess is hired by a man. She is then responsible for his young nephew and niece after the death of their parents. Starring Stranger Things star and the modern It's Finn Wolfhard, this looks like a decent flick for those who love a classic haunting horror. Some don't really seem hyped about this, but I don't mind me some ghosty stuff and creepy teenagers scare the living shit out of me.
Color out of space.
In wake of a meteorite strike in their farm's front yard, Nathan Gardner, played by Nicolas Cage, and his family find themselves amidst an extraterrestrial encounter with mutant alien organisms. It begins to infect them and mess with their minds and bodies, turning what was a quiet town into a technicolor nightmare. I'm actually pretty keen on this one, and it's based on H.P. Lovecraft's short story, The Color Out of Space, with European spelling, of course. The trailer gives off some mad visual vibes, and this looks like a great creative adaptation.
Come to Daddy.
This one I'd never heard of until I started writing this list, but color me intrigued. Starring Elijah Wood, this flick is about an alcoholic in recovery who lives with his mother. One day he receives a letter from his estranged father requesting him to come for a visit. So, Norval catches a bus to a secluded lake house in search of some sort of emotional fulfillment. Instead, what was supposed to be a bonding session becomes a waking nightmare. It's labeled a comedy horror thriller and doesn't have a wiki page at the time of this video, but I'll go in with no expectation and hopefully come out thoroughly surprised.
The Lodge.
Although it premiered at Sundance Film Festival in 2019, this is scheduled for a full release on February 7th for a showdown of horror holiday cabin movies, with the previously mentioned Come to Daddy. It spouts a slow psychological burn about a young woman played by Lisa Marie Presley's daughter, Riley Keough? I don't know. And her stepchildren become isolated in a remote winter cabin, unfortunately unveiling mysteries of the past. It has an 81% approval rating on Rotten Tomatoes, so I'm not sure why they waited a year for a full release, but I'm guessing they've probably done a few reshoots to try and hint at a sequel or create a franchise. But I could be wrong. I'm probably wrong.
After midnight.
Come Valentine's Day, there seems to be a few horror films being released for those who like to scare their girlfriends for sneaky cuddles in the dark. We're still in the middle of nowhere, at a cabin. That's 3 films in February already. But what seems like a perfect relationship is seemingly broken down when main character Hank's commitment issues towards marriage cause his wife to go away suddenly without explanation. Besides the one I just said. Upon her departure, Hank starts to experience strange activity and clawing at his door late at night. I'm kind of getting a backwards Cinderella story vibe, like the curse that can only be broken by marriage of your true love, but that awaits to be seen. Check it out with your better half this International Love Marketing Ploy Day. I mean, Valentine's.
Fantasy Island.
Fantasy Island is a horror twist on the popular 70s show about a magical resort on, you guessed it, an island. The mystifying Mr. Rock, played by Ant-Man's Michael Pena, can make people's deepest secrets come true, but things take a turn when the fantasies start to become nightmares. The guests are left to unravel all the chaos as they work to solve the mysteries of the island in less than 6 seasons. That's impressive. I'm intrigued, and I don't mind this little craze of rehashing old non-horror properties as horror films. Something different for that ass.
VFW.
A seemingly normal night at the local VFW turns into a struggle for survival when a group of war veterans enjoying a few drinks come under attack by a gang of punks. Mutated-looking punks. This is kicked off by a teenager running in the bar with a bag of stolen drug money. Starring Don't Breathe Stephen Lang, this seems like a frighteningly fun ode to a few of those classic 80s films with some badass old dudes.
The Invisible Man.
This remake of the 1933 film of the same name stars Madman and Handmaid's Tale star Elizabeth Moss. It has a decent-length trailer that I think shows a little too much. This may be an attempt to throw us for a curve, but it seems just too much. In saying that, it does look good, and I will be watching. Originally, this was meant to be part of the Universal Dark Universe, but they may have bailed on that completely. We shall see. Maybe a sneak post-credits scene? I like the idea of a horror universe, but I think they should have eased into it and wowed people with subtle hints and reveals rather than just announcing it's happening. Left to theories, we can create buzz and hype instead of just going in with full expectations and not first and foremost just enjoying the film. We shall see.
Saint Maud.
Now we head over the pond to the UK for a possible possession film with religious tones and psychological thrills. A hospice nurse named Maud has recently converted to Roman Catholicism and begins to think she may be possessed as she becomes obsessed with saving the soul of a girl she cared for. An explosion of faith and madness as she battles with otherworldly forces and her own past. Not sure what to make of this, but I look forward to what is hopefully something uniquely original in this genre.
I'm thinking of ending things.
This film is a thriller drama based on the novel of the same name by Ian Reid. There is no current trailer, but it is adapted to film by Charlie Kaufman, who also adapted Susan Orlean's The Orchard Thief, which became Adaption, starring Nicolas Cage. It is expected for release in the first quarter of 2020 on Netflix, starring Breaking Bad's Jesse Plemons. The plot of this movie is not really clear, but if it follows the book, then it surrounds an unnamed young woman who lets her boyfriend take her to see her parents on a remote farm, and the disturbing aftermath that follows.
Atlas.
Another film with Jesse Plemons and also Felicity's Kerry Russell, who is a small-town teacher who became entwined with a young student who has dark secrets. Produced by Guillermo del Toro and directed by Hostile's Scott Cooper, this looks pretty badass. I've never heard of a were-reindeer or were-buck, but now it's all I want for Christmas. I don't know if that's the theme, but judging from the trailers, this looks to be full of scares and cool concepts. I can't wait to give this one a watch or two.
Antebellum.
This thriller drama from QC Entertainment and Lionsgate is set for release right near my birthday. Yay! Its poster uses the success of Get Out and Us to try and draw in an interest to the film that doesn't really seem to show what it's about, probably because it's a mystery. The plot description is, a successful author finds herself in a horrifying reality and must figure out the mystery behind it before it's all too late. Judging by the trailer, I think it follows 2 or more timelines and may delve into slipping between parallel universes, judging by the plane glitch in the trailer. That's my theory with absolutely no basis, but I am perplexed and excited for this film. Antebellum means occurring or existing before a particular war, especially the US Civil War. So that's just more mystery sauce for your mind chips. You got any theories? Let me know in the comments below.
Morbius.
Comic book horror! Just to mix it up. Morbius is set to be the second film in the Sony Marvel universe. Jared Leto moved away from DC after being cut to shreds in Suicide Squad to play a scientist who suffers from a rare blood disease and in trying to cure himself ends up becoming infected with a strain of vampirism. I hope it's cool. We have been lacking a few vampire flicks lately, so I hold hopes that he is focusing on playing a dark character with depth instead of sending used condoms around set. This is in the same universe as Venom, and also eventually Spider-Man, as he has the powers to travel between cinematic universes, according to Kevin Feige. Jolly good, I say! Bring it on!
Malignant.
Last up is brought to you by James Wan, who is well known for his work on Saw and the Conjuring franchises. He's bringing yet another original concept to the horror genre. This film is an adaptation of his graphic novel, Malignant Man. There is no trailer as yet, but I'm excited. The description on Amazon Prime says, Alan Gates, a cancer patient with a terminal diagnosis, is resigned to his fate until he discovers that his tumor is actually a mysterious parasite. Granted a second lease on life and incredibly otherworldly powers, Alan must fight against an evil army buried beneath society's skin, all the while unlocking the secrets of his forgotten past. An action horror sounds like fun, but it does go up against Escape Room 2 in the box office, but we would talk about that in yet another video about upcoming horror sequels. Please like, subscribe for more news, lists, and Easter eggs about horror and beyond. Stab yous later, and remember, stay wicked.